things don't happen without lots of people and organizations involved, whether it's fighting pollution, changing the world, or doing events like this. It takes so many people to create and sustain them. As we mark TCE's 30th anniversary, I want to thank all of you who are with us, our allies, our supporters, our sponsors, our volunteers, our board members, and especially our TCE staff, former and current TCE staff. I do want to take a moment to remember two people who've passed on. Misty Amber Moore was started as a TCE canvasser in our Dallas office. Then she came back and was a designer for a number of our Trash Makeover challenges. She lost her battle to cancer in April, and she was an inspiration to many of us. We also lost Gil Sines in mid-October. We met Gil when he came to the Texas Capitol to defend the single-use bag ordinance passed in his hometown of Freer. He soon became a TCE board member. He and his spouse, Savannah, were sponsors and big fans of the Trash Makeover Challenge. So Savannah's with us tonight. Gil was a true public servant and the Duval County judge. He will be missed by many. As many of you know, canvassing is TCE's superpower. During these many months of the COVID pandemic, we've been organizing with emailing and texting and phoning. But we know the power of face-to-face interactions, talking with people about issues that matter. And so I'm very excited to announce that in January, we will be carefully reopening our canvas to do door-to-door work. This past year, our work with frontline groups has deepened. For instance, in the Corpus Christi region, our Coastal Alliance to Protect Our Environment, or CAPE, is growing stronger and racking up some victories. Late last year, a subsidiary of the Saudi oil giant Aramco announced that they were abandoning plans to build the largest plastics plant of its kind in the Coastal Bend area. There are 4 proposed desalination plants within Corpus Christi Bay. They are all delayed. And now the EPA has signaled that they are not going to let the state environmental agency just rubber stamp those permits. And they are paying attention to the potential disastrous results of desalination plants in Corpus Christi Bay. More recently, our allies have won a delay in the expansion of the largest crude exporting facility in the country, owned by Enbridge. This expansion would harm the ecosystem and a bluff that is rich with cultural artifacts of the Indigenous Karankawa. We are working across more areas of the Texas Gulf Coast as well, especially in Calhoun, Brazoria, and Jefferson counties, where there are numerous crude and gas exporting facilities. We are building relationships with people in countries such as Poland and Germany that are organizing against importing dirty fracked gas from Texas. We continue to work with groups across the country and in other countries against the financial institutions like banks and insurance companies that enable the fossil fuel industry. We know that Texas is the belly of the fossil fuel beast. We have more drilling, more pipelines, more refineries, more petrochemical plastic plants, and more export facilities than anywhere else. As we push for a new clean energy, circular economy, we have a special responsibilities to the workers and communities that have depended on fossil fuel to make sure that they have good jobs in that new Texas economy. We have a monumental task ahead of us, and it's an exciting task as well. Imagine building a just future where people are enlivened by fulfilling work and creative play on a planet that is thriving. Luckily, there are millions of people like you and me who are passionately working to realize that vision. If you have an interest in getting more involved or a question or idea, please put your name and the best way to contact you in the chat, and we will follow up with you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoy the show. Next, you'll hear from writer, TCE board member, Trash Makeover Challenge event chair, and my friend, Alberta Phillips.
Good evening. I'm Alberta Phillips. It's truly an honor to serve as chair of this year's Trash Makeover Challenge, the 11th year for the challenge, which is, as many of you know, the main fundraising event for Texas Campaign for the Environment. This is a special year as TCE is celebrating its 30th anniversary, fighting dirty pollution across the state. In other words, as our theme says, fighting dirty for 30. This is the second consecutive year we are bringing this event to you virtually. Our decision to do the event virtually was in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and our strong desire to ensure the health and safety of you, our supporters, as well as everyone who has worked so hard to put together the 2021 Trash Makeover Challenge. Initially, we wanted and had planned to do a live event at the Texas Disposal Systems Scenic Wildlife Ranch and Preserve in Austin. It's why our fashion show and designs have an animal theme. It is our hope that we will return to an in-person event in 2022, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. Tonight, we have an exciting lineup of fashions to share with you. But first, as a TCE board member, I want to say how proud I am to serve an organization that is serving communities across Texas in fighting for a cleaner, more livable environment and better health outcomes. That is a fight that is particularly important to communities of color, Black, Latino, Asian, and Indigenous. I want to highlight just one program TCE is using to help communities of color and low and working class people across the state. For our third year, and with the generous help of our donors, the TCE Fund continues offering mini grants of up to $4,000 per year per applicant to traditionally underfunded communities and grassroots organizations. Those grants are available to groups, even if they lack legal nonprofit status. To apply for a mini grant, go to the link in our chat. Now I'd like to introduce you to some TCE mini grant recipients whose work we are highlighting tonight. Southern Sector Rising, led by Marsha Jackson, has been literally fighting for the lives, welfare, and quality of life of a Dallas community against polluters who erected a 6-story dump of shingles in their midst. It's called Shingle Mountain. The group also is confronting other industrial uses that pose a health threat to the community. Following Southern Sector Rising, we're highlighting the group Indigenous Peoples of the Coastal Bend. The group, led by Love Sanchez, is fighting to protect a stretch of coastal area in Corpus Christi Bay from an encroaching oil export facility in order to preserve an area that houses thousands of their ancestors' artifacts. Lastly, TCE's own Corey Troiani will talk about TCE's response to this year's ice storm and the massive breakdown of our electric utility grid that ultimately caused a water shortage and led to hundreds of deaths across Texas. So stay tuned. Before I sit down to watch the rest of our exciting event, I want to give a sincere thanks to our donors who continue to back their commitment to a cleaner environment with their financial generosity. Truly, they continue to fight dirty for 30. As I take my seat, I want to say, enjoy the event. So let's do this.
Hello, my name is Marsha Jackson. I live in Dallas, Texas. I am an environmental activist, known as the Shingle Mountain Queen, I would say. But we were fighting for that because it affected our health in my neighborhood. Over 150,000 roofing shingles that were placed next to my home and next to my neighbors, which caused a health effect to us. Those shingles were there for almost 3 years. And because of that, what happened, I now have the issue that my lungs aren't, they're pretty clear, but it's mostly my throat. And we're still going through those effects from the Shingle Mountain. The Shingle Mountain was removed in February 2021, and those are rejoiceful days that we saw coming to us. Because of the removal, we also are advocating for a park on that property. The city now owns it because of a lawsuit. The property is filled with lead, so we still need remediation of that property. Not only Shingle Mountain here in Dallas, I'm also on the lane plating committee, and that's an EPA superfund. So we have these chemicals right here in the neighborhood of the city of Dallas that we have to continue fighting, for environmental injustice. Those include zoning also.
Hello, my name is Love Sanchez. I am a co-founding member of the Indigenous Peoples of the Coastal Bend. I am an organizer here on the ground in Corpus Christi, Texas, and I'm also a land and water protector. I am a part of the Karankawa Kala. It's a Texas Gulf Coast tribe here in the area. Currently, we are in litigation with the Army Corps of Engineer regarding a permit 404 that would be doing dredging in McGloin's Bluff, which is located in Ingleside, Texas. However, the Enbridge, which is formerly MODA, they are now a defendant in the case. So yes, we can say that they are part of the case now. And so we are now in litigation with not only the Army Corps, but also Enbridge, which is notorious across the nation for destroying most impacted areas and Indigenous treaty land. The reason why our group is a part of this litigation is because we were informed of the site being a Karankawa site. And we know that already. We know that the entire Corpus Christi Bay is Karankawa ancestral lands, and that is the tribe that I'm a part of. So it became a path that opened up that we felt in our hearts that we needed to be a part of so that we could stop the destruction of the land and the water. So the things that we're currently doing, we are trying to bring awareness to what's happening in the area. And we're just trying to kind of educate the community that it's time to transition because we are in a climate crisis. So I'm very happy. Recently, we got some news that there's not going to be any construction on that particular area, and it's 432 acres of land that is potentially going to be developed on. However, the construction has stopped, and that's good news. So that gives us time to litigate. That gives us time to kind of dig into all the legality stuff and see what happens from there.
Hey y'all, Corey Troiani with Texas Campaign for the Environment. I've been with the organization for the past 8.5 years. I started as a door-to-door canvasser in the city of Dallas, and for the last several years, I've been working on our campaigns and directing our strategy. It's crazy that it's been almost a year since Winter Storm Uri knocked out our power grid across the state, and so little has been done to prevent events like this from happening in the future, be they winter storms, heat waves. Our grid is not resilient. We're calling on our state lawmakers to modernize our grid, make it more efficient and reliable. Things like investing in renewable energy that's going to last for generations and working on programs that'll make our buildings more efficient and use less energy during peak times. We started the Texas Power to the People campaign to call on our lawmakers to pledge to take action on our energy grid And we're calling on them to divest from the energy companies that made profits or have special interests in maintaining the status quo. We need our lawmakers to respond to the people. We need them to listen to ordinary Texans over that of billionaire interests and big energy companies. So you'll be hearing from our organizers soon. We'll hope you'll jump on board and join our campaign. Thanks so much.
Let's get back to what this is about, the centerpiece of our event. It is the fashion show. Again, I'll remind you that the teams are competing for $1,200 in prize money and using their talents to show how creative people can make stunning, amazing garments. But also, I think the real message is that we don't need to keep consuming, discarding, consuming more. Let's always think, how can I reuse? How can I repurpose and stop this unsustainable cycle of consumption? Not good. All right, we are ready for the first installment of our fashion show. And again, in case you missed it, our judges are Linda Asaf, CEO, Linda Asaf Design, Nina Means, Director of Austin Community College Fashion Incubator, Rebecca Cayley of Texas Disposal Systems, Samuel Alexander, the founder and CEO of Concept to Consumption, and my friend, former state senator and founder of Deeds Not Words, Wendy Davis. Here we go.
My name's Emcee Starr. This will be my 7th time participating in the Trash Makeover Challenge. The first time I did it was in 2011. I decided to participate this year because it's always inspiring to see what other people do, and it's really fun to work with unconventional materials. I decided to do octopus tentacles because I found these white plastic caps all collected together, and they instantly made me think of the suckers on octopus tentacles. My garment is made of an orange plastic raincoat, red plastic biohazardous waste trash bag that's unused and was discarded by a closed down factory. They're lined with old bed linens, and I used wire hangers to create these puff-sleeved, exaggerated look. And then, of course, the white bottle caps that were collected by a local scrap reuse store. And for the Marie Antoinette style headpiece, I used cores from the toilet paper rolls and covered them in the same biohazardous waste trash bag plastic. And for fun, I did an eyepiece, which is made from straws that I found in the street. And these are just a 2-pack holder for beer cans. Because octopus can glow in the dark, I decided to paint the white plastic caps with glow-in-the-dark paint. I also decided to do long sleeve gloves with the same red plastic material and the glow painted bottle caps. And that was just sort of to represent the idea of octopus tentacles. I was trying to figure out how long it took me to make the whole project, and I would guess it was about 30 to 40 hours. The most challenging was figuring out how I wanted to make it look like it's inspired by octopus tentacles, but still look like an actual garment. So really deciding what I wanted it to look like was the hardest part. I just kept thinking over and over again of different designs and not really landing on one until the end.
Hi, this is Stacy Tompkins. I'm coming to you from Duval Island, Florida. This is my 4th time participating in the Trash Makeover Challenge, and I really enjoy participating in this event, one for the creative outlet and challenge that it provides, and also because of the messaging behind the event, promoting the recycling, reusing, upcycling, just anything that counters carbon footprint and reduces the human impact on our environment. This year, I chose to work with the texture and print of a crocodile. My husband is a Florida native, When we move here, I am exposed to an entirely new mass of flora and fauna, and I discovered that there are also American crocodiles in the southern regions of Florida and around the coastlines. This was a very inspirational opportunity, using this to explore the biological and ecological benefits of the crocodilian order. The piece itself is designed to present parts of that biology that we associate with power. I created kind of a power / pantsuit. The pant or the trouser is made from reclaimed upholstery fabric that I got from an old couch. For the top, I have reclaimed fish netting. It's a plastic-based fish netting that I have cinched up a little bit, done some heat shrinking on, sewn it up, made it into the undergarment of the shirt. This piece here, this crisscross top, is a recut, redesigned, long sleeve button down shirt I've had since the 90s, came out of my own closet. I wanted to leave the arms exposed as a demonstration of strength, showing the biceps, as part of, powerful arms, powerful legs for a crocodile. The back is where the highest amount of crocodilian biology is worked in, I would say. On the back, I have made a piece that is meant to replicate the spine and tail length of the crocodile. So in the top portion, we have 6 soda pop rings, 8 kite string bases, as many silicone bands for using in packing, and then that cycles down to 10 water bottles, 10 straws, and they're capped with 10 rubber bouncy balls. This piece was the most challenging part for me. I wanted this piece to be the centerpiece of the entire unit. I wanted it to have an ethereal feel. I wanted it to be light. I wanted it to be transparent, yet still look structural in nature, skeletal almost. And I still wanted it to embody that sense of power, that the tail that they can use to whip around, the osteoderms that they have that protect them from other crocodiles and any other predators, and then having the netting here as their scales and their body, these are all protective elements. I would say the coolest thing about my piece, which you see in action, is that as I ran the fishing line, which there are 30 feet of fishing line here, the line is put there to stabilize these straws so that they're horizontal. But the cool, happy accident that happened with that is that it stabilized everything all the way to the end, so that as I'm walking, or if I bend over to manipulate the tail, it has a nice, natural, fluid movement. The way that it moves so naturally, it is something that I'm quite proud of, and hope to experiment a little bit more with the kinetic side of my fashion pieces very soon. Overall, I tried to stick with a gray, brown, and earth tone color scheme. The wig in the ashen blue is to represent a water dominant life. When we get everything loaded, let's see how it looks in motion. I hope you guys love it. And thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Jackie Barrera, and this is my first time doing the Trash Makeover Challenge. I have had a blast. When I had to pick an animal, I went into a memory of when I was living in England, my first year of college, and I decided to take a volunteer job at the London Zoo. And one of my most favorite outside of the marmoset was a porcupine. Once I got to think about how do you design using porcupines, I didn't know. So I created a story in my head about a girl who was really hard on the outside and didn't like people and wanted to keep them away. and thus the quills. But deep down inside, she wanted to be just a cute, pretty young lady, and thus the dress underneath. Here's the head. This arch was created with a very thick coat hanger, after which I put the zip ties all over, and I went one way and then I went the other way. That way I got the swish I was looking for. And I stuffed it with grocery bags. This piece right here really was the most difficult piece out of all the things I did. The rest of it's just kind of blasé. So I decided I'm gonna make a dress to go with it. Like a modern day, punkish, cute little dress. And that's where the story comes into play. And I tore apart a pair of old jeans that I had been waiting to repurpose. I just never got around to it. But I found a bunch of bubble wrap laying around. I also took apart the netting from 2 costumes, this past Halloween costumes, and sewed them on as extra paneling. So there's the bubble wrap, the netting, and the netting to jean. So it took me 5 days to make this, and 2 of those days I stayed up till 2. One of those days I stayed up till 3 in the morning. Was there something cool about my garment? My simple answer will be the hood. My depth answer is the fact that I used a bunch of different materials. And I like the idea that I took this, which you would look at and think is a pile of trash because it's bubble wrap, jeans, torn netting, and I created an outfit out of it. That to me is just cool in itself. I appreciate the opportunity to do the Trash Makeover Challenge 2021. Y'all really inspired me to get back up and use my knowledge and do fashion again. I mean, it was fun. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Let me do something to make sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me right now, wave your hands. Zoom clap. Okay, well, Chelsea can see me. Hold up, let me see. Okay. Rebecca looks like she's getting stuck up by the popo. No. Okay. Well, I saw you take H-Town with that. People, this cannot be the first time you've been encouraged to do some, let me reset. As amazing as you are, and you all are change makers, this cannot be the first time that you've been encouraged to give some applause in the midst of this pandemic. And you know when you give applause on Zoom, because we're inclusive, and for those that might not, that might be challenged to hear as well as everyone else, instead of just doing it audibly, we do it visually. So I like to call it jazz hands. There it is, perfect. There you go. That looks much better. So, because if you just go like this, then again, it looks like something went left. All right, perfect. I see that you got it popping in the chat. I love it. Yes, I am SaulPaul, proud graduate of the prestigious University of Texas at Austin. Proud Texan. Yeah, our state is crazy. But I'm an optimist. That's what I do. I travel the world and I encourage people. So I don't only see the bad, I see the good. And shout out to our designers, because they do the same, to be able to take this and recycle and upcycle and see something new that they can create from what already existed. So can we give it up for all of our designers? Perfect. All right, cool. So yeah, I'm SaulPaul, musician with the message. I have this thing that I'm most famous for. It's cool. I got a Grammy nomination on my last album. Who knows? Maybe I'll win one on this next one. I don't do it for the awards. I do it because I'm a change maker. Personally, my story in a nutshell is that I transitioned from prison incarceration to college graduation. Myself, I grew up in foster care in Houston. A deceased mother, a father that I've never met. Again, foster care, juvenile incarceration, adult incarceration. But I discovered if I changed my choices, I could change my life. That's what I did. And so when I got out of prison, I went to UT, I graduated, and I dedicated my craft to being the change. That's what it says behind me. That's what it says on my chain here. Side note, shout out to Manny in Los Angeles. What I'm wearing is upcycled. He actually designed this. It's been repurposed. Yeah, shout out to Lori. We got the change water right there behind me. But yeah, Manny, he's an amazing designer. This is wonderful. So I'm glad I get to wear this today and stay on theme and whatnot. Bravo, bravo, indeed. So check this out. Myself, when I went from prison incarceration to college graduation, I'm like, I'm gonna use music to change the world. I've done a bunch of cool stuff. One thing that I'm most known for is making up improvisational songs. So that's what I'm about to do. Actually, that's what we're about to do. I'm gonna crowdsource the song and create it here live. So I'm gonna take what I have, I'm gonna recycle it. So this is what I need you to do. In the chat, share one word that comes to mind when you think about this evening. Jana, I like how Jana Ortega for judge. You were thinking so hard. I love it. It was like, whoa.
Yes, sir. I'm just thinking about reusing all of this stuff that we throw away and that we just so mindfully toss out. I love it.
I love it. Okay, so boil that down to one word, and type it in the chat. Melanie, I see you thinking hard. Actually, I see you chewing well. Like, I'm saving my hop daddy. Yeah. It's all love here. It's all love here. I'm saving my hop daddy for after I finish. Like, as soon as I finish, I get to go on mute and then soak up the rest of the fashion and eat. In the chat, we have Expression, David, Water, Stacy Tompkins. Oh, yes. Wonderful, Stacy. Wonderful fashion and art, design, modeling, all that good stuff. I definitely plan to use crocodile and octopi, probably octopi, because that's just a cool word. Rebecca, if her little man could talk, I'd get him to say something, but he is not to be bothered with me right now. He is chawing, as we say in Texas. All right, beauty. All right, cool. So I negotiated for like extra moments so I could build. Yeah, I'm getting away. Sarah, get your man. Well, you know what? Yeah, you. Yeah, you, Playboy. You can't be on camera just scrolling like that. Unless you're watching the UT game. But you're scrolling, so you're not watching the game. So, you know what I'm saying? You need to slide out the screen or act like you're paying attention. Yeah, renew your vision. That's in the chat. Yeah, he was looking at you. Re-envision. Called out. No, I got called out. It's all love here. That's how we change the world. We change makers, right? Like, people do stuff and they don't. Not you. I'm not picking on you anymore. I'm just talking about like us as we encourage others to be the change. We have to engage them. You might throw them off, but it's the heart that makes the difference. So my heart is to create community. That's what I'm about to do with this song. So I'm gonna pick a few words from the chat, so that you'll know. And people kept talking about it. So behind me, I'm proud of my company, Change Water. I don't talk much about it. I'll just say it's premium electrolyte water sourced in Central Texas. It's available across Central Texas at Amy's, Ice Cream, Slab Barbecue, other retailers and whatnot. But it's a great product. More importantly, we donate 50% of our profits to local nonprofits. So check it out, drink Change Water. Everything I do is related to change. This song is called Be the Change, but this is your remix. So check it out. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of the words in the chat. If you can hear me and you can hear the guitar, let me get some Zoom hands. Make sure that I'm good. Craig gave me that head nod. Like, that was an official head nod. Like, yeah, okay, he's feeling it. Not only is he hearing it, he's feeling it. Okay, cool. Last thing, then make up this song. 4 minutes to set up, 2 minutes of music. Check this out. Who knows how to chunk the deuce? Okay, I'm big on inclusion. I'll teach everybody how to do it. Everybody put your peace sign up. Perfect. Turn your hand backwards facing you. Bend your wrist 90 degrees. Go back where you started. Repeat. Hey, that's called chunking the deuce. Fancy word, what it means is it's an acknowledgement. So let me tell you some of the words I'll use from the chat. I see Save the Planet. I like that one. Authentic. I'll use that one. And expression. Save the Planet, authentic, and expression. If you hear me use any one of those words, you get to chunk the deuce. I'm gonna make a song, check it out. I've been thinking about it, I should be the change. Ain't no doubt about it's time to be the change. Ain't no way around it if it's tired of the same. Oh, now is the time to be the change, be the change, be the change and make over. Yeah, yeah, just make over. Yeah, yeah, it's the makeover. Yeah, yeah, makeover. We only get one chance with this Mother Earth. Hey, I got that from the chat, second birth. We won't have when it comes to the planet we got. So right now we should think not about all the things that we do that are negative. I stay positive and I beg to give more, and you should do the same. Trash makeover, hey, it's not just a game. It's how we should live. Justice, yeah, that's what this is. Authentic. As I speak it from the heart, shout out to our designers. Yes, they made art. Yeah, and it was so fly. It stood out like multiple octopi or octopuses. If you get it, then you push it. And check it out. I can't help it, but I do it. Yeah, and I show love to my neighbor. And show love, not just my behavior. Yeah, change, showing my heart. Playing my part like Noah with the ark. Another word from the chat was justice. But it's all of us, not just this or just here. I hope it's clear to sing the hook and get it clear. Rise, rise, and open your eyes. Now is the time for you to shine. Won't you help me sing? Rise, rise, and open your eyes. Now is the time for you to shine. Last thing, put your hands in the sky, from side to side. We going nowhere, we're just waving bye-bye. All of the haters, all the haters, all of the haters. Do me a favor, put your hands in the sky, from side to side. We going nowhere, we're just waving bye-bye. All of the haters, all the haters, all of the haters. Hey, holla, see you later. I am SaulPaul. I'm a change maker. You are change makers. It feels so good to share this space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep doing what it is that you do. If you ever want to find out more about me, just visit SaulPaul.com. Keep being the change. Deuces.
We're really thrilled that you've all joined us tonight. I think you're getting a sense, if you didn't know already, what a phenomenal organization Texas Campaign for the Environment is. I got connected with them after I moved to Texas in 1988, after I'd heard James Hansen, the head of the NASA Goddard Space Institute, testify to Congress about a phenomenon they were tracking that was the burning of fossil fuels creating a blanket around the planet and trapping the heat from the sun. And that if we didn't change course, it would heat the planet to the point where human life was no longer viable. That was 1988. So I came to Texas. I've been fighting climate change ever since. And now we're at the stage where we're also trying to prepare people better for the impacts that are hitting us, like Winter Storm Uri. And it's because of the burning of fossil fuels, which Texas is the epicenter of. And that's been a huge part of the work that Texas Campaign for the Environment has done. They fight the pollution at the source. There's huge amounts of methane emissions that are emitted at the source of the extraction of the fossil fuel, the problems along the length of the pipeline, the problems at the chemical industrial sites where they refine the product and then export it. So Texas Campaign for the Environment is fighting these issues at every step of the way. And that's why we're doing this. We want to have fun with the fashion show and the entertainment and everybody participating. But the real reason is to raise money to continue the work that Texas Campaign for the Environment does. And it's why I'm so proud to be on the board and so proud to be associated with the organization. So we're going to do a paddles up. I don't really have a paddle, so I'm just going to wave a piece of paper, pretend it's a paddle. but you can participate in the chat with funding at various levels. And I'm going to give you some examples and see if we can get you all to dig a little deeper, because we know you dug already, but dig a little deeper.
Hi, I'm John Beard with the Port Arthur Community Action Network here in Port Arthur, Texas. And I'm here to tell you that we have to start to bond and work together to free ourselves from the burden of fossil fuels. We are living in a world that is changing dramatically. The climate is changing dramatically. And we here in Port Arthur are at the focal point, the nexus of climate change. We suffer from 5 major hurricanes in 15 years, numerous storms, some of the largest and greatest flooding in the history of the Americas. And now here we are with the petrochemical build out, with refineries expanding, with export facilities and LNG facilities springing up all around us. And these are contributing to the pollution, to the various health effects and the negative health effects that people here in Southeast Texas and Port Arthur particularly are feeling. So I want to ask you to join with me and let us strive and work together to build back better, as Biden says, but to build back fossil-free and usher in a new, clean, green age of renewable energy.
Good evening. My name is Yvette Arellano. I'm the founder and director of Fence Line Watch, an environmental justice organization based in Houston, Texas. Our ultimate goal is to stop the multi-generational toxic impacts on fence line and frontline communities from the fossil fuel industry. We are set on doing this by creating systemic change, whether that's removing language barriers that have long plagued our communities in our great state of Texas, to increasing public participation processes. We also work across the board with different organizations, including Texas Campaign for the Environment. We hope that every Texan is able to see a just transition, and we're on the path to do so. Just this year, we were able to have a major win in language justice. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality finally has admitted that they need to remove the historical barrier of English-dominant public participation events, and we're on the path to do so. So I hope you join us all as we continue to advocate for our communities to a just transition. Thank you.
I believe that we are ready for the second part of the Trash Makeover Challenge fashion show. Remember that you will have your chance to vote as well. It's not just the judges picking, you get to vote on the People's Choice Award after we've seen all the looks.
Hi, my name is Megan Pinto, and I have been doing the Trash Makeover Challenge since the beginning. This is just a fun outlet that also not only promotes recycling, reusing, it also helps with the Texas Campaign for the Environment.
I chose the red lychee. So I chose my animal print because not only is he a beautiful, unique animal, this is an animal that is hunted. So I wanted to show the ecosystem, which was also the fact that they like to live in marsh.
I designed a jumper with a detachable skirt for this piece. My garment was made out of natural resources. The wig, I used actual tree branches from outside to resemble the red leche's horns. And then the jumper is used from shipping ties. I had to cut each one approximately 2.5 inches, then go in with my fingernails and divide the thin plastic into single layer strips. This took countless hours and my fingertips were literally red and throbbing. I made the center of the jumper out of the window curtains from a store. They had thrown it away in the dumpster. Also, for the closures of the dress and the skirt. I didn't use a zipper. What I used is the straps from packaging to wrap around waist of the jumper, and the closure of the skirt is snap buckles, which I found in the dumpster. It was a divider for a dog for the car. And the skirt itself, I had to do patchwork because it is two different sources of material, and the trees are resembling cypress trees and Spanish moss. That's all disposable food boxes that were filming for Jersey Shore. All of the waves are plastic water bottles, plastic to-go cups, milk jugs. I hand painted each one. I also placed a frog on a lily pad, both are which made out of milk cartons. I designed the redfish to live alongside with my red latchway because he is a herbivore, which means that he only eats aquatic grasses, and that's an essential part of his diet. But he is alongside the redfish. He's made out of the curtains of a store. The exterior is actual fish scales. His fins are made out of cardboard, which everything I did was hand painted on him. And I'm really proud and happy with how the whole garment encompasses his lifestyle, his environment, his ecosystem, because the red latchway is near threatening in population, and his animal population is decreasing. So I really want to make it known who he is, what his lifestyle is. He's a beautiful, magnificent creature that more people need to be aware of so that we do not lose him. The most challenging part of making my design was a three-way tie between making the water and the waves, also the strips to represent the fur. That alone within itself took weeks. Also gathering the materials within itself was something that was, a doozy. But I'm very happy that time, patience, and the will to keep pushing through really brought this piece together. I'm really happy.
Hello, my name is Valentine Gargo of ILC. This year is my first time doing the Trash Makeover Challenge with you guys. I decided to participate in this year's challenge just because I really wanted to challenge myself as a designer to really source from other materials other than fabrics. Just because, we are using recycled materials, we are sourcing from unconventional items, so that was something that I really wanted. As a designer myself, to really try to think beyond. I also wanted to make a statement as a designer myself, to really try to really think about, a sustainable lifestyle. For my design, I decided to go with cow print just because this animal, the cow, it's really something that in my culture, it has high value to it. Kind of my first instinct that I kind of went to. So I was like, okay, I'll just do a cow. And then I was like, okay, well then, if I'm just gonna do a cow, I should do cow print. And cow print is much more creative site for other than just, a cow. But my inspiration behind the cow print, it was to show like a dead side of a cow, hoping that making a statement of, kind of like a dead looking cow will really become us if we don't really take things seriously to, actually try to make a change in the world. For the cow, I made, horns for it, and I made a mask for it, and then I made bones for it, spine, kind of wanted to have that dead side to it. And then with the print itself of the cow, I kind of wanted to see it as, the main concept. So, with the aspect of the cow print, I really wanted that to be vibrant. I really wanted that to be the most showing out of my whole outfit. Kind of having it to see like there is still a future for us. There is still something that we can do to make things right. Behind the face mask, I really wanted that to be the person to really be there to help, or to really be the person to be hiding behind the mask and ignoring the problems that we are having, or to be the person to take off the mask and to try to do something about it. The materials that I used for this project was metal, so I used that for mostly the skeleton on the back, just to have a better structure. And then lastly, the most challenging part for me during this project was really forming the structure, so making the curves, making the horns and the face mask, and making the spine on the back, the skeleton structure. I didn't really know how to do it, so that was something new for me. And with doing cardboard paper mache, I really didn't know how to do the paper mache itself, so I was really struggling with that. It kind of like it would either work or either didn't work. And then I would either have to add on items or I would have to take away. And so I think that was the hardest part for me, but I would say the coolest part about my garment, I would say how I made my garment. So I kind of did like the weaving texture look to it, just because I kind of wanted it to have the fabric vibe to it, just because we're not working with fabric, we're working with other materials, so that's kind of something that I wanted. So I'm really proud of that, and that was something unique about my garments. And yeah, thank you.
My name is Casey Floyd, and this is my first time in the Trash Makeover Challenge. I decided to participate in this challenge because I really wanted to push myself as a sustainable creative and artist, while also doing something that I've never done before, and that is using literal trash to make an outfit. The animal I chose to do was the Lady Amherst pheasant, and I chose this particular pheasant because I was inspired by the male's artistic appearance and the mix of colors that the bird has. The bird has a mix of black and white feathers along the back of their necks and along their tails, while then on the rump of the bird, which is where the back meets the tails on the back of the bird, that's very colorful. So there's color blocks of red, yellow, blue, and green. So there's just a mix of black, white, and all these colors. And so that's what I really wanted to showcase on this dress. For this challenge, I decided to make a dress, and it was actually my first time to ever make a dress. So that was a really great learning experience. I ended up naming her Lady. So for Lady, I used a bed sheet as the foundation, and that is where I connected and sewed all the other materials that I used for her. So Lady is made out of old receipts, dryer sheets, and on the back is chip and candy bags. And I really wanted to showcase all the different colors that the bird has, so I decided to split the front to showcase the black and white of the feathers, and the back to showcase the rump of the bird with all the different color blocks. So on the front of this dress, there are 112 receipts and 56 dryer sheets. And I decided to layer them to really give that airiness of feathers, and so they can really flow when the gown is being worn. I collected these items from so many different sources, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who have helped out. The idea of heating the receipts actually came from my little sister Chase, and I used an iron to do so, and it left this really cool print that reminded me of a snowflake. Each receipt that got burned is unique. There's not one that is like it. They're all special in their own way, which makes this dress and Lady even that more special. The back is made out of 42 chip and candy bags, and I collected this many by the help of my family and friends, and I collected them at gatherings, and I just went through people's trash if I had permission, and also just like outside on trails when I went for walks or was just in the streets, and just gave them all a good clean. So the back of a lady did take me the longest. It took me about 10 hours once I did the pleating on the dress, and then colored, arranged how I wanted to do the different shipping candy bags. And then I had to pin them, get them really even, and then sew them up on the sides. This challenge was so much fun, and I just want to thank you guys for letting me be a part and participate. And again, thank you to everyone who gave me materials that helped bring this creation and to Lady to life. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Thanks everyone for the viewing of the 30th year anniversary showing of the Trash Makeover. I spent the last 40 years plus in the $2.5 trillion global fashion industry. Our industry employs over 75 million people globally. The problem with our industry is almost 85% of the textiles end up in landfills. And then approximately 60% of all materials used are made from plastic. We're responsible for 8 to 10% of humanity's carbon emissions, and also 20% of worldwide industrial water waste pollution. Our solution is to reshore factory utilizing new robotic, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology. Our goal is to develop sustainable new products, starting with hemp which uses 1/4 of the water and produces 4 times more crops than cotton. Mushroom and cactus leather, and then custom made to measure clothing. We will design out waste by leveraging product design for a life cycle approach. Products will be made, redesigned, or reused for a more circular life. We will focus on a quality of life instead of a quantity of life. Thank you.
Hi, and thank you, Kathy. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Congrats to all the teams and all the designers. You ladies did a phenomenal job. So let's get to it. Your third place 2021 Trash Makeover goes to Cow Spots LLX Creations. Congratulations. Third place. Okay. Your second place 2021 Trash Makeover goes to Octopus Tentacles, Emcee Star. Congratulations. And now, your first place 2021 grand prize winner for Trash Makeover Challenge is, can I get a drum roll? Red Leshwe, Megan Pinto. Woohoo! Congratulations. And I want to share just a little tidbit of information. This makes Megan Pinto a three-peat winner. This is her third time in a row that she's won the Trash Makeover Challenge. Great job, Megan. Thank you. Oh, and I just got the news that Megan Pinto is also your People's Choice winner 2021. So congratulations, Megan, on that clean sweep, getting People's Choice and 2021 Trash Makeover winner. Way to go.